Today's Try It Thursday. We're going to be making banana chocolate peanut butter and ice cream. So it's a bit of a twist on ice cream. A healthier version. There's no cream in it. You're getting your creaminess from frozen bananas. Lots of simple ingredients. Like I said, there's no high-fat cream. All we're using is frozen bananas. We're going to be using a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. You can use a little bit of salt if you want. And then you're going to also use 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. If you want to make it super low calorie, you can omit the peanut butter. But the peanut butter also adds to the creaminess. So you can do this in a couple of different things. I have a Vitamix here. But if you're using a blender or a food processor, like a normal blender or a food processor, you're going to want a little bit of milk as well. You can use almond milk, you can use cashew milk, you can use regular milk. It's really up to you. But you're going to need a little bit of milk, and you want to add that slowly to it, just because it will break down the bananas a bit easier. With the Vitamix, I'm going to be using this temper here that goes through the lid, and that just allows me to push the ingredients down and kind of turn the ice cream. Like I said, if you're using a blender without like a high-powered motor or a food processor, you can still make this. You just need to have a little bit of milk on hand to slowly add to it. I would say it's less than a 1/4 cup, and you want to add it slowly. Otherwise, it would be almost like a smoothie. And the consistency we're looking for is more like ice cream. So what we're going to do is start with your bananas. You're going to need 4 frozen bananas. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to want to freeze up your bananas before you start this recipe. I just cut mine up, put it in a plastic bag, or just put it on a plate, freeze it overnight, and then the next day you should be fine. But I mean, probably about 3 hours in the freezer will work. And you want to make sure that your bananas are pretty ripe. That just brings out a lot of the sugar, so it's a bit sweeter. But also it's a better consistency. So you just throw those in. 4 bananas, 4 medium bananas. Right away you can just throw in your cocoa powder. Again, that's 1 cup, or sorry, 1/4 cup. And then you just dump in your peanut butter. So 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Just make sure you get it all in there. Don't worry about getting your fingers messy. I'm just gonna wipe off my hands here. From there, like I said, if you're using this recipe in a regular blender that isn't like a high-speed motor, then you're just going to put a little bit of milk in there. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of vanilla, but you can also add in whatever you like. So if you want cinnamon in there, you can put some cinnamon. You can put some sea salt as well. You're not going to need any sweetener because the bananas are actually super sweet, and they'll give enough sweetness to the ice cream. So I'm going to put my lid on. I have my temper here. This is going to be super loud, so if you're wearing headphones, you should probably turn down your volume. I'm going to turn this on just to like regular. And what I'm going to do is put on high speed. So if you have a Vitamix, you're just pushing down the ingredients so that it all gets mixed up. The more bananas you use, the easier it'll be, because it'll have a better chance to mix. But because we're only using 4, we're going to need to temper it down. If you're using your regular mixer or a food processor, just turn it on and let it run for about a minute. What you're going to want to do too is every so often scrape down the sides of the spatula just to make sure everything's getting mixed in, and then turn it back on. I'm going to put the lid back on, have my temper here, turn it back on. So now that's all tempered down and mixed in, I'm going to put it on a lower level. So the longer you have the blender on, the higher chance you're going to have of your ice cream melting. So just make sure that you don't have it on too long. With a regular blender, it might take about a minute or 2 minutes for the bananas to just crush down and then turn into like more of a soft serve. So just keep an eye on it. Use a spatula to bring the ingredients off the sides and then turn it back on again. But really you don't want to be having this run too long because it'll just melt your ice cream. If you're using it in a blender or a food processor, what you're going to want to do is put it in a container. You're going to pour your mix into a container that you can put in the freezer and let it freeze for about an hour or two. With the Vitamix, because you only have to put it on for a certain amount of time, it actually stays pretty frozen, so you don't have to put it into the freezer. You can eat it right from the blender, but if you're at home and you don't have a Vitamix or a high-powered blender, that's fine. You just have to let it freeze in the freezer for a little bit. So I'm gonna scoop some of mine out here. I'll kind of show you the consistency. It looks almost exactly like ice cream. Tastes exactly like ice cream. You can see there, it's an awesome consistency. And you can eat it right out of the blender. You can top it off with some nuts, some fresh fruit if you want. If you don't like chocolate, you can just use the bananas, throw in a little bit more vanilla. And if you want to add some protein to the recipe, I would suggest putting about a scoop of any kind of protein, vegan, whey. You can do that at the beginning when you put in all your ingredients, but I would just suggest adding a little bit more liquid just so it gets all mixed in. So go ahead and try that. Just remember to freeze your bananas ahead of time, but give it a go. You'll really enjoy it. It's a great way to cut out a lot of added sugar, a lot of added fat from the cream, and then a lot of additives that they put in the ice cream that you get at the grocery store. So give it a go. Let us know your favorite toppings, and we'll see you next week.